Okay, this is Matt from Naws.
This is Andy from Naws. Hi.
Hi, we're going to just answer a few questions we've had come in. We've got this upcoming release on Monowave Records called The Storm. And so let's get into some questions. Who makes up Naws?
Interesting question, that one, Matthew. I believe it is you and I.
It is you and I. Matt Coleman and
Andy Preston.
Hi everyone. So we are Naws. Second question is, how long have you been in the music production scene, Andrew?
So I would say we've been in the music production scene for about 2.5 years now. We formerly went under a slightly different alias, but we've been writing and recording and producing music together as Naws probably for 18 months to 2 years now.
Yeah, that's about right. And I guess we both have some background in music and DJing, whether it be some form of kind of classical training or learning on the job, as we say, and we've kind of pulled those things together to create Naws. So, top pick from Monowave Records currently.
Temazcal, Memories.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's a cracking track. Really enjoyed listening to that. It's in our playlist right now, which is getting plenty of plays a day. I think people are liking it. So it's a pleasure to meet him and to be on the same label. How would you describe our musical style, Andrew?
That's a really interesting question. I would say we definitely sit in that melodic house bracket. We've got elements of lots of things in there as well, organic house, progressive house, deep house, all of these things, but our influences are sort of far and wide. So I would say you get quite a unique sound, or I'd like to think you get quite a unique sound when you listen to Naws, because some melodic house can be quite generic, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, I'd say we don't have any kind of boundaries. Our musical influences are far and wide. Everything from old school garage all the way through to rock and indie and electronic music of yesteryear. There's just so much to get influenced by, and anything really that can invoke an emotion. For me is something that gets me wanting to write some music, and I love the process of doing that.
So here's one for you, Matthew.
What's that?
Any advice for upcoming producers?
Advice for upcoming producers? Well, you've got to be humble here. I think we are still upcoming producers, or at least I hope we are. But you've got to love what you do, and at the end of the day, making music, whether it be today with all of the technology we have and all of the amazing genres of music that are out there, or it be yesteryear when it was, somebody with a piano in their house, just improvising something. You've got to enjoy what you do. But I'd say start by just trying to get down what you feel, what makes you feel good, and going with it. And I guess as you go forward, get advice, get feedback. There's so many resources out there right now to know about more the technicalities of music, how things were made, and I'd say finish tracks. Know when an idea is not going to go anywhere, and if you're fighting too hard to finish a track, then okay, park it. But try not to fall into the trap of loop after loop, Andy?
Yeah, definitely not. But my advice would be, talk to people, as we've just said there. Ask for feedback. We've made a lot of friends over the last couple of years within the industry, met a lot of really lovely people. Don't be afraid to ask for feedback. Don't be afraid to talk to people. Don't be afraid to network. You know, it's about getting your brand out there ultimately. And you've got to have the talent, but there's no point having talent if you're just going to sit on it and not tell anybody about it. So you know, you've got to put in the work, talking to people and getting yourself out there as well.
I would say as well, this might sound selfish, but make music for yourself. You know, make something that you like. You know, you don't have to try and please other people. If other people like your music, that's wonderful, but you know, music is an expression of how you feel. So you know, make it about how you feel, and if other people like it as well, that's awesome. Last question here is, can you share a bit about making the storm? So I'll start this off. So I'd say common answer to this question when people ask us how do we start a track, always starts with a bass, melodic movement, chord progressions. More often than not these days we try and write music from left to right, and what I mean by that is trying to get a whole song down with minimal elements, and then start building it down. As a piece of advice I had from a number of people, notably I'd say Evan from Madeira, that gave me that piece of advice, and that certainly was something for the storm. So we started with that, and from memory I think that the storm was written about a year ago originally, the basic idea of it, and it was a dark time, you know, the weather wasn't so good, and you know, you're kind of invoking those kind of moody vibes, and it kind of went from there.
Yeah, and you know, and then we started with that piano line, and then we filled it out with, you know, those strings and with lush pads, and added some, I guess, warmth to the storm as well. So yeah, and it really grew, and as Matthew says there, it's sort of, the track itself does build from left to right, and check out the extended mix as well, because the extended mix is great.
I do love an extended mix.
I like the extended mix, yeah. So yeah, that's the storm.
There's one other thing I just remembered, Andy, and that is a little bit of story about the storm. I think as we are sat here today, you know, it's middle of the week, it's in the evening time, we often come together like this and write music, and then I remember after one session we posted a little clip on Instagram, and Monowave spotted it, and at the time we'd had a successful release with Monowave called Alone, and they reached out and said, hey, that's a cool track, and then we were like, oh well, I think they might like that one, Andy. We best finish it off and send it over, and the rest is history. So there we are. So that's us. We're Naws. Been a pleasure to answer a few questions here tonight. Hopefully you like the storm and you do all the normal things and play it a million times and share it with your friends. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.